Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly timeframes. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to our website, sign up for the free membership for email alerts to videos like this, live streaming sessions, and our trade ideas. So go there, sign up, StockBookie.com. All right, let's get right into the daily SPY, and another great day, guys. 232 on the Dow, almost made it above 21,000. 2388 on the S&P, and 6,025 on the NASDAQ, coming with some big earnings coming up this week. It's going to get really interesting, guys. So again, if you're bullish, been watching my videos, we got above the trend line. We filled the gap today, which we've been talking about. We closed right on top of it, guys. So next step, if you're bullish, you got to get above the 240.27, then the 242.43 area, and then possibly 250, 252. So once we get to the double top, if we do, we'll see how it reacts if it comes back in. And we got to take it one day at a time, guys. Nice move up here. The last, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. 6 sideways, but 2 good blast-off days. Again, though, it's really keeping just this gap up, and then it just does nothing, guys. Beware of that. That's all I could say. Volume 76 million, so it's starting to disappear again. Yesterday we had the 110 on the day, so it was a little bit better. But look at that, we had 110 and then boom, right back down. So again, we closed right on the gap. Let's see what tomorrow brings us. Bullish, you got to get up here and keep going. I want to see more volume than this crap, though. If you're bearish, you got to just come right back in, fill the gaps. You know, now you got a lot more support coming down, so you got a gap fill here, double bottom. I still think we end up around here, around the 220 area eventually. But let's see what this market gives us in the next couple of days. Let's go into the IWM. IWM, same thing, guys. Look at that double top. Mama mia. So here we go. This was the test. We had to get above the pivot, go to double top. We talked about that. Next area, about 142.30 or so. And then honestly, 145, even number, you know, maybe 150 if it really gets going. But one step at a time. This was the first thing to get above the MAs. Pop, pop. But again, what caught my eyes on this one too, guys, we gap up and then we just do nothing. Come on, push it up. They're gapping this thing up above resistance, and then they just stop it, and then the algos take over, and it does nothing, guys. So beware of stuff like this. You know, why deal with the pivot high right here? Why deal with this? Just pop it up, just like this. Instead of dealing with the pivot, pop it above it. That's what these guys do. Volume was a little bit lighter, 32 million on the day. But again, nothing wrong, guys. Back above the MAs, getting a little bit stretched now. Let's see if it gives us a bullish pattern, setting up for the next up move, or does it start to possibly fade and come down in here? If you're bullish, you got to keep rolling. I want to see bigger volume. If you're bearish, you know, you're going to fill the gaps down here. You need to get below the MAs, come down here, and then maybe the double bottom. Again, I still think we come down to the 124, 125 area eventually. But again, hats off to these guys. Let them keep it going, guys, at this point. Just like I've been telling you guys, trail your stops on this stuff. You don't want to wake up to a disaster and this whole market's fallen. Seen it before, and you can't tell me it won't happen again. So Qs again, all-time highs. This one has a little follow-through. Pretty good volume. Not super. I want to see some big. I guess I can't even find a big volume candle on this thing. You know, in here it wasn't too bad, but I want to see more volume pushing this thing up. We are going into the 135. I wouldn't rule out the 140 area. I'm going to do a little more work on this one to see if there's any more resistance coming up here. Let's just go off the pivot here, go to the top. Now, really, earnings are going to really drive this one up or down. You know, are they pushing this thing up just in case if Amazon and Google come out a little bit short of their earnings with Apple and some other ones? But, you know, at this point, earnings aren't coming out too bad, guys. But a lot of these stocks are high. A lot of these stocks are, you know, just extended. And then they have good earnings. They have one last pop. I would be shorting into that stuff. If that was me, I'd be taking profits long, and I'd be turning it and possibly going short with small positions, though. Got to be willing to add more in these markets, because these markets, they just keep grinding and grinding and grinding. Again, nothing wrong with this daily chart of the Qs. I want to see what it does on the weekly chart. Let's go to the weekly really quick. And all these too on Friday. We're going to pop to this one. I want to see it continue up. Remember, this never closed above the high on the weekly. This is the first time. So I want to see it close up here and another close up here on the weekly as well. We're going to follow this one then. on that time frame. This was a pretty good bullish pattern above the MAs, but it's just starting to get stretched, guys. So just keep an eye on these markets. A lot of news coming up, and right now it's really news driven. So you got to keep, just beware of this stuff. Let's go to the daily on the DIA. Again, though, look, gap up, goes up a little bit, and then just boom, pause. Algos take over, Fed backstop. Everyone up, it's okay, just keep it pegged to the 20 MA. Man, it came in a little bit after hours, but nothing crazy. Probably maybe a little profit taken on the gap up if someone caught that move. So right now, again, got to the pivot. We're back to the inside bar. We're trying to go for this high pivot here too. Right now, big resistance right here. So we are above the 209.39 number. I want to get over 210, then get over the area here around 210.26, and then go for the all-time high. If this thing breaks through, you honestly go to this trend line, 220, right up in this area. So, of course, we'll watch at 215, that right in between the 50% area, and then we'll see if it could push higher. But right now, nothing wrong. Guys, we're getting above this bar, but I want to see a little more steam on this one pushing up. If this comes right back in, then you got to see how this thing reacts. But right now, guys, nothing wrong. Nice little pop. And right now, we're trying to attack this this nice consolidation area, which is now resistance. So that's why we stopped here. Let's see if we get another push through to the all-time high, which is 211.59, and then we'll take it from there. If it can, then we'll wait for pattern, see if this thing's ready to pop up more, or does it, does it come right back in? If you're bullish, you want to get through here and keep going and confirm and keep popping up like this. But look at this, guys. Comes here, they gap it up over all the resistance, guys. Huge resistance right here. Huge. Right above it. So they don't have to deal with it. Boom. And then today they get it. It's like almost like, all right, let's go. Get it before someone thinks about it. So now we're going back to the highs. Let's see if some more distribution comes into play once we get back here. If it starts coming up here, that's what we're going to watch out for too. Volume was okay on here, but got nothing wrong, guys. Back above the MAs again, and just doing its thing like always. Like volume markets take over, and bam. This is the one that caught my eye a little bit. This was actually negative today. Had a real good move up. We did the 4, 5, 6, 7 days up right into this pivot. A lot of actions here where this is support coming from consolidation. So, or resistance and support if it comes back into it. But resistance right now is we're going up. But again, see how they gap it above the areas, get it above there. Now it just kind of stalls out. So, I'd like to see a gap and then another gap and keep it going here, guys. A little stall out here. Now we're going to have to wait for pattern here, see if this goes sideways and then attacks the all-time highs. If it gets to 174, I wouldn't rule out, 175, then possibly 180. We'll have to see how the markets react in the next couple weeks or so with all the news coming up. News will drive these markets one way or another. Even bad news is good news because then Janet's not going to raise the interest rates anymore. So, or she'll be waiting on data again. So beware with that. But again, overall down, sideways, slightly bearish. You are above the MA, strong stance. So, as if you watch my videos, gap fill, all-time high, then we'll have to play it from there. Or we're waiting for the setup to see if this thing's going to make the next move up. Or does it come right back down, boom, double bottom, 200 MA. Then we'll see how it reacts there. I'm still thinking 150, possibly lower. And then 175 to 180 if it goes higher. So either way, guys, I don't bull or bear, whatever. If you're bullish, that's what I'm looking for. If you're bearish, that's what I'm looking for. So let's go to the USO. USO, they're pumping up the news now with the OPEC, and this time it's for real because the last time it really wasn't. But again, they're going to try it, with cutting the output of whatever they're doing. So we didn't really catch anything, but if you stick a smaller term retrace in here, you're into the 750 right down in there. So that 1022, you had the 750. So I'm going to put that in there for some resistance or support. That's what we're holding. Let's see if we go sideways or do we retrace back up into these MAs and then kind of get tied up and then come back in. Again, we had a nice fallback. A little bit oversold. You're going to get by the dippers coming in. You might get a little push up here. We'll see how the markets react tomorrow and the next day. With I think the debt ceiling's on the 28th. I think so. That's going to be more stuff that's going to drive these markets up or down. And what is this, the 17th time, guys? The debt ceiling. It's like, God, why do we even have it at this point? They've raised it every time. So at this point, it's just getting stupid. So anyways, let's see. After hours, oil is down 9 cents, so it's coming in. But we have the inventories or whatever, the data is coming out tomorrow on oil. So that's going to push it up or down. At this point, I don't know. We were short. We covered most of it. We have a quarter position now. And we'll see if we can get some lower prices. So right now, it really doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. UUP. UUP, same thing, coming in. We talked about double bottom. We talked about the 200 moving average. And we also talked about, you know, coming down here in the $25 area. As much as I don't want to see that, but, you know, if that's what they're giving it to us, I think, you know, dollar down, oil up, gold up, and the market sometimes up. There's another trade that takes care of that one, but you got to keep an eye on the dollar. Dollar's coming in pretty good. We did get below the 200 MA for sure this time. We were barely below it here. We did crack through double bottom, so I wouldn't rule out down in this area. Let's just... Yeah, that's the big pivot with the gap fill. There's a couple more gap fills down here, but this is a pretty good line here too. Let's go back. So let's pull that one. Sorry, guys, I'm getting into the charts a little bit here today. So let's make that one a little more accurate here. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good area. You have this trend line coming from the highs. So let's stick that one in there too. Let's extend it. So not a bad area, a couple gaps in there. But the big one I like is around the $25 area. So let's see. This thing's been making lower highs, so it's been coming in pretty good. So let's see if this one comes in a little more, and then boom, starts to get the launch off. So let it come down, what have you. We were long at one point. We sold, came back in. If it gets, you know, down in here somewhere, we'll go long again, possibly on the UUP. So again, nothing wrong. Let's see if this thing just, if it comes through, yes. If it pops back above the 200, then I think we'll be okay for a little while. So right now, we're just kind of waiting on pattern on this one. Nothing to do. If you're short, just hang on. I think you can have lower prices to come. If you're long, tighten the stop because this could go to 25 bucks. So be careful with the UUP. Let's go into the GLD. Remember, dollar down, gold up, but not today. So did the dollar, wait a second. On the day, the dollar was down. So that's what I thought. So gold just hanging on. We're still above the 200 and the 50. It needs to stay above all, all the MAs. But nothing wrong yet. If it takes this low out here, this low pivot, then we got to start saying, hey, you know, what's going on here? We did have a bullish pattern here, pushes up, comes back in, but this bullish pattern becomes support now as well as the 200 and the 50 MA. So right now, GLD's not doing too shabby, so let's hang on to our long still. Let's see if this is just a short pullback and pop up. If we start getting back into here, we'll reevaluate the trade. We can maybe get out, maybe wait for lower prices, but we're going to have to see how this thing comes back in. Right now, still nothing wrong with these charts on the daily. Just a pullback from another nice little launch into a trend line. Kind of held, and came right back in. Markets are a little bit less fearless because everything seems to be coming together with earnings, so gold comes down a little bit. Again, still above the 200 and the 50. Closed below the 20 today. Still nothing wrong with it though, guys. We did sell half of our position up in here, so we're going to keep holding this one to see what we get. Now the Jnug, guys, and someone else was telling me today that this one's going to follow the, oh gosh, I forgot what it was. But we were looking at that one today. So on the Jnug, I was told to look at the GDXJ. So let's find, you had double bottom here, guys. If this thing does not hold here, if this thing closes anywhere below, you know, in this area tomorrow or the next day, and as long as it hangs below there, this one's probably going to dip lower. The Jnug did come into the 431 area we were talking about, and it got a nice bounce. That was gap fill. But the next low is the 383 area. Will it come in? So, gosh, look at this thing. But then looking at this chart now I get to understand this one a little bit more. You know, same action here. So it is trying to hold on here, but overall just weak. Below the MAs. Nice pullback, though. You got that in your favor to possibly slingshot and come back in. But still a gap right here. And we still have the, you know, the double bottom. We still have a gap down here as well. So it could go into those areas, guys. Let's pull this one off here. Let's put this, I'm going to put double bottom, but I wanted to do a retrace here real quick and see where this one went. Yeah, so we're almost in the set. So it could come down one more time, and that could bring us down to the 383 area. So just don't load the house on this one. It could come back in a little bit more. It should hold this area, guys, but just be careful with the Jnug for now. Anyways, thanks for watching my videos. God bless. See you on the charts.